Hey, everybody. Oh, yeah, I can hear myself. Amy Lyon, New Life Mission. We're out on the bench, downtown Melbourne. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging in here with us. We are here with the lovely Amber Caroll from Brevard Homeless Coalition. She brought us veggies.
I did.
Not donuts.
That's right.
So if anybody wants to come out tonight and bring donations, laundry detergent, twin-size comforters, twin-size sheets, or veggies, we'll take them. So we're going to jump right in. Amber, tell us about Amber. Tell us,
Oh my.
before you came to Brevard Homeless Coalition.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it. Do I look at you the whole time? Do I?
Well,
there?
whatever you want, whatever you're feeling.
All right. It's okay. I'll look at you.
You can look at me.
I'll look at you. You're lovely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm from Brevard County. My dad was Patrick Air Force Base, and I lived here. And went to school at Carroll Elementary and Johnson Junior High. Yeah. Yep. Moved down to West Palm. Went to UCF, met my husband, and we got married in 2001 and moved back to Brevard to start our life. And so I lived out in Rockledge and started in the financial sector at Charles Schwab. I was my Series 7 and 63. I was in the IPO world and had this moment where I was dealing with people who had a lot of money, and I was young and getting things wrong, and I had a moment one day and I said, if I died tomorrow, my life wouldn't matter. And I made the decision I said, if I go into the nonprofit world, then maybe I can make a difference. So started my work in nonprofit, and then
What do you think sparked that?
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually had a call on my life in 2003 to go into full-time ministry. So I worked in the local church for about 18 years, and was a youth director, and then worship director. I led worship for about 11 years, and then got into church planting out in the Midwest. So I moved to Kansas for about 6 years with my husband and family. And we replanted a church together. I was a lead pastor, and my husband was a co-pastor.
I didn't know this about you. That's so cool.
Yep, and then coached church planting pastors throughout the Midwest. And then COVID hit, and then we came back to Brevard, and I was finishing up my master's in theology from Fuller and trying to decide what was next. We were talking about maybe planting another church, or didn't quite know what was going on. And then I met my friend Teresa Grimison, who is with the Community Foundation, and she said, I think I might have an opportunity if you're looking for work, because at that point I was open to doing whatever, but I kind of told her the work that I've done in like church vitality and working with church planting pastors. I said I really like turning things around. So my husband and I were working on my resume, and he's like, I think you're like a turnaround architect. I was like, ooh, that's a fun name. I'll take that. So I was talking to her about it, and she said, well, I think there might be an opportunity, and it's going to be really hard. In fact, she used words like it might kill my soul. Like it was going to be really hard work. And homeless, I always say homeless ministry. It is a ministry to me, but homeless services is really hard work. Yeah. And so I came on December 5th. So that coming up will be my 5-year anniversary in doing this work.
Has it been 5 years?
5 years, yeah. And so, started with me and one other person who was our invoicing specialist. We didn't have an office, and I didn't have any training or experience in this work.
Did you hear earlier when I got interviewed by one of our staff talking about how when I started, I had been a journalist, so I didn't have any background, and I think it's the most beautiful thing that God doesn't call the equipped always, right? He equips. And the only way we know that is by taking people who are not equipped. Not saying that you weren't. I know I wasn't. Yeah. And then puts us in those roles.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you faithfully walk it out the best you can. And so we're almost 5 years into it. I have a staff of 7.
Okay.
And have been a part of some really amazing work in Brevard County over the last 5 years.
So tell us about Brevard Homeless Coalition.
Yeah.
What is the purpose? What are they doing?
Yeah, so the Continuum of Care program is a program that was established by HUD, our federal government. And the way that the program was set up is there were designated geographical regions throughout the country. So every state has COC, they're called COCs, designated to be the function, the kind of the organizing body for homeless services in that community. Florida has 27 regions, 27 COCs, and so we represent one of those 27 COCs. Every Continuum of Care identifies one lead agency who's going to do the grant applications, apply for the funding, do all the reporting, and kind of monitor, work around a strategic plan, lead the membership body, and so that's my organization was created to do that. Yeah. And so I got here in, like I said, 2020. I think our annual budget at that point that we were receiving in was right around $700,000 or something, and since annually, so about that was our state contract, and federal was a couple $100,000. But since then, we have secured over $15 million.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've worked with over 20 nonprofits who have just been committed to doing this really hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
What, in 5 years, what changes have you seen as far as the needs of the community? How many? Oh, I just started asking questions. I'll let you answer.
You're a
one
journalist.
of them. I know, I am.
So.
And I need to write them down and slow down a little bit. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
How many organizations are a part of the Brevard Homeless Coalition?
Yes. So the Brevard Homeless Coalition, again, is the lead agency. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit. I have a board of directors. I have a staff. I run just like any other nonprofit structure would run. The COC is the membership body.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like a church.
Right.
You've got the congregation, you've got the membership body who kind of sign up and say, this is, we want to be a part of this mission. And our vision as this coalition is to see that the experience of homelessness in our community is rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. That it rarely happens, that if it happens, it's for a short amount of time, and it doesn't happen again. It's a one-time occurrence. So we had about 60 on record. We have over 210 now organizations and people in Brevard County who say we have a heart and a desire to buy into this mission. And from that membership body, we elect an advisory council to speak on behalf of it. So there's 34 members on that advisory council, and that is we have members from each of our the home consortium, which is the 4 big cities, so Titusville, Cocoa, Melbourne, and Palm Bay, and the county. So they all hold a seat on the advisory council, as well as the sheriff's office, the parish, all of our big stakeholders in the different areas of influence. So it's not just our homeless service providers, but the whole you have to have the whole system buy in if you're going to see anything change.
Yeah. And what changes have you seen in the last? We'll go both directions.
Yeah.
Let's start with positive changes.
Yeah, totally. So one of the things that we needed to do when I first started was to establish a strategic plan, and oftentimes those are created and maybe people don't follow through, or it's just a checklist activity where
they're filed.
They're filed away, done, checklist, turn it in when I have to turn it into the state or HUD. But we spent a year working with with various groups throughout the community, creating our strategic plan, which is called Housed and Healthy Brevard. And we really started working that plan on and having measurable outcomes and being really honest and true about what's working, what's not working, how do we pivot, and So that's been a really fun activity and experience because, we've been able to see our plans work, or that, we need some time to develop other things.
Not everything works.
Not everything works. And ever since we've done that, we started in 22 when that was established. We've had a change in our presidential leadership as a country. We had a full turnover and an election for our city council members and the county commissioners. So really interesting to make really great progress with a certain council, and then have people rotate off, and then you literally find yourself at square one.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
a crazy.
You're educating people, so that's
so much
good and
education.
bad. I mean, there's challenges in that.
Absolutely, yeah. Politics,
a lot of challenges in that. Yes, so moving things. It's hard.
Yeah,
this is hard.
That's the word. It's hard, and as I say that, it's hard. I took a little nap before I got here, and all I can think about today is how much rain has been happening in our county, and how hard it must be to be sleeping outside.
We've had a couple of people mention that.
Yeah, I think it's hard.
Right.
That's hard, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the hardest things, but one of the greatest kind of honors to be able to be called to do something like this, to maybe impact change for people.
Do you? Oh, geez, there's so many things. What are? Okay, so with what are some of the positive things that are happening? What are some wins? Recent wins for the coalition?
Oh my goodness. Well, in May this year we have our annual review, so we give updates on how things are going, and I would say our goal of homelessness being rare, brief, and non-reoccurring, we measure those. We have a database that we oversee and we manage, and agencies they have projects and they track their data through that, and we look at that. So we're able to look at people are, once they enter into this system, whatever, we are seeing that their outside experience of homelessness is shorter. We're seeing people get housed quicker. We're seeing people remain housed, and we're able to look at those metrics and see that actually it is happening. Now, of course, there's stories of where it won't happen, and some people's experience is different than that, but there's, what data do we have? We have about 22 organizations who put data in.
Okay.
So of those who are doing that work and putting it in and, caring about, not other people don't care, but putting in good data and the good information. And
you only get out what you put in.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I can say is that it's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah.
So
what's
fun.
working?
That mission, the agencies who are doing this work, we're seeing the collective story is that people are homeless for less time. They're getting housed quicker. They are not repeating their homelessness.
Right.
So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Even if it's incremental change, I mean, it is going in the direction. All of those metrics are going in the right direction. So,
what do you think right now are the biggest challenges facing our community with homelessness? Because that's not a huge question.
I mean, I feel like it's we all know this, right? I mean, we don't have enough housing for people to get off the streets. And we think, most of us who have houses don't quite realize that. And there might be houses for sale in the market, but they're not at a rate that our population can afford. So that is a huge problem, and there's not a lot of incentive for affordable housing or for providers to build it in our community. So that's difficult. We have a recent partner who's local and building in Melbourne, who basically said, you can't make the numbers work. Even if you want, even if you are a for-profit developer and you said, I'm going to build affordable housing.
I have a heart for this. I'm going to do this.
I'm going to do this. they cannot make it work because the cost of construction is so expensive.
Right.
So we have to, as a community, get creative and figure it out.
And I think that's what we've been trying, bringing the city out, city officials, and asking for those creative solutions. We're going to have a dance party here in a second.
Right.
Asking for, like, what are some of those creative solutions? And so far, I mean, people are having some ideas, but I think it's so tough because in our own lives, we have the challenges of the rising costs of things.
Oh, yeah.
And 5 years ago, you're so like me. I was sitting like that. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can here. 5 years ago, we weren't even talking about needing affordable housing for our families because we could find it at New Life Mission.
Right.
And so we've had to pivot in some of our units. We've turned them into graduate housing.
Awesome.
So people are in our program 2 years, and then they can rent for another 2 years because we couldn't find them anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So, like, we're having to, as things happen, economic things, as a community.
That's so great to hear. I mean, that's the kind of creative thinking that has to happen, and that is happening. So it's another, you're a great story of that. In my office, we have a staff member. His name's James Smith. He does our coordinated entry and our outreach. And he works with all of our local providers to refer people into housing. But he just met with a couple the last week about, they have a house and they want to explore shared housing. They're like, how do I do this? How do we do, 2 leases for a, this couple bedroom house and have 2 different families in? I mean, it's like getting roommates, but when you think about it, I mean, I was thinking about my life. Like, I've always been in shared housing. I would live with my parents. I had a roommate in college. Yeah. I got married.
Yeah.
I've had to share house. I didn't share my house. Then I had kiddos, and so anyway, so it's neat to hear some creative solutions coming about. It's just we can't keep up with it.
We can't keep up with it at all. And how do we bring the cities and the churches and how do we bring everybody together? And so you're saying we have 210 providers.
Providers, just concerned citizens. We have people in churches. So that membership base it represents, government. It represents hospital. It represents, just churches, regular businesses. So.
And is it active? Is it 210 active?
I don't know how you define it.
Yeah,
I mean, we meet 4 times a year.
Okay.
Our membership meetings are quarterly. There's 210, official members. We have around 100-ish that come to our meetings. Our last one was kind of light, but typically around 100 or so that'll come. I'm
just trying to put my finger on, what does the community need?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like numbers are increasing? I mean, depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah, of course.
Our calls have increased significantly.
Yep. Yeah.
So what do we do, Amber?
I know. We do the point in time count every year, which you participated in last year. And, we noticed that, with the enactment of House Bill 1365, people have been in more hiding and not wanting to come out for the point in time count. So our number was 5% lower than the year before our count was. But we know that people weren't presenting themselves for fear of retribution, right? So, but again, we have to use the data that we collect, and we've collected that data the same way for the last 4 years. But what we noticed is at the same time we do this point in time count, we do a housing inventory count. So whoever puts their information into the database that we talked about, we saw a 1% increase in available housing and a 5% decrease in unsheltered homelessness. So when you look at what do? We do exactly what you're doing. You find housing, and the more housing we can find, we're going to see that number decrease. And one thing that I've really been kind of like sitting with over the last several weeks, because there's a whole other conversation about what's going on in our the federal government and like with our funding and some other things, but is that even in this climate, when things are calls increasing and we know it's getting scary out there, we have managed to keep our numbers at a lower rate. So like, I think our agencies are working harder. They're seeing more people, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because at the rate of where we're losing housing or our affordable housing stock that we have is coming out of its affordability period also in Brevard County. So like cities and the county will give like an incentive to build affordable housing, and they have like a 15-year affordability period, you know, these apartment complexes, whatever. Well, then they end their 15 years and then now they can increase to market rate.
Yeah.
So that's happening. So anyway, all these things kind of stacked against you, but we're still able to keep like respond. So we're at, I guess that's a long way to say, at the rate of things getting difficult, I'm surprised we're not seeing double. Like it's not double.
Yeah.
Right. And
I'm glad we're not.
We're not. Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's good. Here's something cool that happened. So every year, it's cool and then it turns like not cool, but every year HUD will put out something called the NOFO, a Notice of Funding Opportunity, an OFO. And so every COC submits an application for that funding. Yeah. And then you get, you know, it's kind of like a formula how much you can apply for. So for us, when I started, our annual renewal amount was, I think we were at like 700,000. And so you submit this big application and you upload your data to HUD, not de-aggregate data. So it's not, you know, you can't identify people in it. It's just numbers and demographics and that sort of thing. And so you upload that. They look at how your system is performing, systems performance measures as a continuum of care. So every geographical region has to tell HUD, hey, here's how we're doing, and here's our story, here's our joint application. And so we've done that. Our annual renewal amount since I started was 700. This past year is 1.4 million. Wow. So we have doubled the amount of annual renewal amount that has come into our community. And that is a testament of, you know, we're telling a great story and our data's showing it. Yeah. So you have to compete at like a national level to get that money and get bonuses and get more money. So again, the numbers are, you put them in and then you submit it and it, you know, so that's been like,
are we showing greater need? Is that what we're showing? Or are we showing? It's
both, right? Okay. So people are worried, like you want to, some people will, you know, there's misinformed that if you have a higher point in time count number, if you have more need, then you'll get more money. But there's the flip. If you have more need, then maybe you're not doing your job. So it's kind of a, like they give you points on your application. Yeah. So sometimes you get less points if your point in time number went up. Yeah. Or you get more if it, you know, so you really just like do the work, put it in, because it kind of all. So anyway, they put out a special NOFO, like they do an annual one every year, and then they had this like special one that called the COC Builds, and for the first time they put money in. The federal government at HUD said, we're going to give you money to build permanent supportive housing. So you can apply for this funding, but it's a limited pot. It's $75 million for the whole country. So we're like, I mean, it's our responsibility to at least apply for it, to go for it. So we had a local competition. We submitted our application in August last year under our prior administration. And we had put in for Apollo Gardens, which is CAR 4, and they're building in Titusville. And so then we didn't hear anything. New administration comes in. They make us resubmit the application. So we redo all this work in May this year, submit it by June, hear nothing. And then all of a sudden we hear on the 4th of September, you have to do it a third time, but they gave us like 7 days to turn it around. And it was like this really weird, like you had to, it's like a checklist. It was very, very weird. It was wrong because they have to make it competitive. And this was very not competitive. It was like first come, first serve. And you could get the money. I don't even know. But we submitted it again. So I was on a call, and the Senate minority at the federal, in the Senate, federal Senate, submitted a letter to Congress and said, the second round competition that happened, the second round in June, they actually scored all the applications, made their recommendation, HUD did, and gave it to Congress. That's the process. You give it to Congress, and then you notify everyone who wins. Well, they never notified everyone who won. 12 states got this funding, and there were 14 projects awarded. Florida got one project, and it was ours. $5.6 million.
Well, that's amazing.
That's amazing, but we didn't get it because they never told us we got the award, and then they resubmitted it. They made us redo it on the third time. So it was like this, like, oh man, but like something to celebrate that, I mean.
So that's a cool story that turned out to be not very cool.
It's cool, not cool.
It's not cool.
It's not cool. And it's $5.6 million, and a portion of that would add to that annual renewal amount that I told you. So we were $1.4 million. Part of that, 5.6, if we would get that, and it's not over yet because there's some people fighting it, it would double our annual renewal amount that would come into this community that would be for services.
Yeah.
It's huge. So we are, I think we have a plan. It's just slow, and it's not as fast and as we all want it to be, you know, and it takes people sticking with it. And that's, I mean, it's hard.
Sticking with it. So like Buddy at Cedar Rescue Mission.
Yes.
And then New Life Mission, we don't use government funding.
Right, yet.
We don't utilize any government funding. So how many of your organizations that are part of the COC are there as part of that government funding, to get that government funding?
So we fund 12 agencies.
Okay.
And that's federal and
Brevard
state.
Homeless Coalition.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So we run a local competition. We have to issue a RFP, a request for proposals, and then do that whole process.
Okay.
And so we have 12 right now that we support, and then there's a couple that get their money directly from HUD.
Okay.
So they're about 14, 15 right now. So it kind of changes. If sometimes we'll get extra funding streams that come in. You know, we will go and apply for like local foundation grants, or, you know, just private foundation grants, like bigger pots of money that maybe a small organization couldn't manage on their own. But we can we can go for that bigger piece and then split it up. So we've done that. We won a Universal Foundation grant this past year for $100,000, and we supported Streetside Showers and Daily Bread's Streetside Chef. So help kind of get that
cool
stuff. So it's kind of fun to get to do that.
Yeah.
But that's not government, that's private.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I sigh because, you know, I don't know what to do.
I know.
I mean, we are doing it, right?
You are.
We're out there, but I can't get that 210 number out of my head. You know, that even 100 people and our community struggles to come together. Do you see that at all? Do you?
Well, I guess when I hear that, and people will ask, like, why can't we come together? And Buddy and I were just talking about an experience he had, a really good experience. I think that looks different for depending on who you talk to. Right. So there are a lot of versions, a lot of ways to come together, and it's, I mean, you give people opportunity to come together, to join in.
Yeah.
And so one of the so with the strategic plan that we put together, Housed and Healthy Brevard, one of the key priorities that the community said they wanted was this asset mapping. And, you know, we need to, so we, prior to me coming,
Marcus Smith talked a little
Yes.
bit about that. So can you explain for everybody what
Yeah.
asset mapping is?
Absolutely. And people also have definitions for that.
Okay.
But our approach to it is coming from our direct services kind of committee. So Tara Pagliarini, I think has she already been on?
She is coming 4 a.m.
Look at her.
She'll be out here, family promise.
All right,
Yep.
Tara. She's overseeing that, leading that charge. Okay. And one of the problems that we saw was that there's so many resources. We don't know who's doing what.
Yep.
How are we coming together? Are we duplicating efforts? Yes. Can you do what you do great and let me do something great? Yep. And so, you try things one way and then you evaluate, is it working or not working? So we used to have everybody would get on a call once a month and like share, right? Which worked during COVID, that's great. But what we talked about doing and are putting into place is that we really, it's great to be on a call, but you don't necessarily need to be involved with what North Titusville is doing, right? I mean, you need to know that, but for you to really feel like people are coming together in your area, it's like, how do you help people who are in your area get to know each other? Because
Brevard County is
it's
pretty
so long. Yeah.
Pretty long county.
And so everybody always talks about, well, what works in Titusville doesn't work in Palm Bay, and what works, and it's true. It's true. So rather than trying to force this like, oh, we're all coming together, we're going to do hyper localized work. And that's what Tara has been kind of leading us through. And so the north section, so North Brevard, has been kind of spearheaded by Parrish and this other group up there to do asset mapping. And it is for the providers. It's not an asset map for the community, so to say. It is for the providers to know who does what, how do they do it, and they're creating an online kind of geo mapping tool for provider to provider, not to share with a client.
Wow.
Or a participant in your program, but it's a tool for a case manager to sit with somebody and be like, oh, I think I know. Let me look.
Yes, absolutely.
And so Titusville's doing that. Well, Tara's been doing that in Cocoa with this 922 crew. So they call themselves, and all the people who in Cocoa who are doing the work, and they rotate each month to learn more about their organization. They're doing this, so they're mapping it all on the geolocating that. And then, so now we've got Christy Stewart with Love Inc.
She'll be on too.
Yes. Awesome, Christy. And so now with Marcus's help too, they had their last meeting last month. They're meeting again this month. 25 people coming together in Melbourne to do this work. So now we've got some highly invested, localized asset mapping. What do we got going on? Now we're looking for Palm Bay.
Yes.
And Kenny Johnson is interested in working on that and has he wants us to kind of look at starting that there, which is great. We had some conversations about that, but it just takes time. I was in a North Brevard Coalition meeting several years ago, two years ago, and we talked about asset mapping, and someone in the room said, well, I think we need to see that in the next 6 months. And I laughed. I was like, there's no, this is going to take years.
Right.
Years if we do it right.
Yeah.
And it's slow. It's so slow. But if it's intentionally done with really great leaders and we're just seeing it. Yeah. So now there's this tool. It's called Simpara.
To identify the gaps.
Absolutely.
That's
so
the key.
They're going to visually, now we're going to have this tool. You can visually look at it. I'm in 32922. Well, what's around me? And it's different than 211. Very different. 211 is public facing. Yeah. It's for the community to look online. What's around me? She's
describing it. That's what I was gonna, 211. If you haven't heard of it, you just described that. That is for the public.
211 is a resource. They are a huge partner with what we do.
Yeah,
huge partner, and they're integral to this work. They really are, and they don't get enough credit for the amount of good that they do in this community. It's hard.
So if you dial 211 on your cell phone,
yep.
You go to, somebody answers, it's a database of all the resources.
They're like referral, so they're not going to solve your problem. They're gonna say, here's some resources you can contact. But we do have a housing team that is funded through the coalition to help support people who are in need of housing.
Yeah.
And it's a process, so it's very frustrating because it's slow, and there's not enough, so there's a whole way to get access to those resources. But
what amount of time are we looking at for the asset mapping? So it sounds like it started in North Brevard. And
Cocoa and North Brevard really were kind of doing their thing in tandem, and then it's kind of they've been on kind of the same track, but they've kind of gone about it a little different each way, but really cool and beautiful to see it like that work. So I mean, we are working with the Prosperity Initiative. Is that how we call it? Is that what we call it? With the chamber, Palm Bay Chamber.
Yep. Marcus talked about that a little.
And so Tara's been really just key to making this happen. So we want to get Palm Bay on there, and then we'll stitch together each of the regions on this map, so that we can have that as a resource to our agencies, really. And I mean, phase 2 could be that it becomes an outward facing. We've got like crazy dreams or whatever.
Have those, right? You have to.
People ask all the time for a printed resource list, all the time, and and we say the minute we print it is outdated.
Right.
So, how can we get this tool for our agency? So we've been working on it, but it definitely is to do it right, because it's very grassroots. I mean, it's only as good as the information that's put in there.
Well, that's like 2-on-1.
Yeah.
As long as people are updating their profiles.
Exactly.
So, well,
it's a way that they're coming together. So this, like, the local groups coming together with purpose. So oftentimes we meet for the sake of meeting.
Yeah.
So at least now we've got kind of like a vision. Like, we're going to get together. Is Buddy hosting the next one? He might be. Sita might be hosting the next one.
We'll check with Buddy on that one.
But get together, make sure real time. Is this up to date? You're updating the website, the tool, and then you're learning what this agency's doing, and you're asking the questions, and how is this
so good.
It is exactly. So it's the smaller from the bigger. Yeah. But now we're all connected. So Tara's overseeing the key leaders from each of those areas.
Yeah.
And then making sure we're all kind of speaking the same language to produce something that would be really beautiful.
Do you have anything? Okay, so there's 27 COCs in Florida. Do you have anything where do you have COC conferences, or are you learning about what other communities are doing that you can bring to this community?
I would say that everything that we've done is like a ripoff from another high-performing COC.
There is no gold star for inventing.
No. In fact, we had a consulting from Tampa Hillsborough, and that's Antonio and Antoinette over there. They're incredible. When I first started, that was like one of the first things I did was hire them to help us, like, because we just needed some guidance. I serve as a treasurer for the Florida Coalition to End Homelessness.
Okay.
And so that is where all of our COCs come together. That's our advocacy and education group for the Florida COCs. So that conference is actually coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So Jeff Noose will be leading a conversation there, talking about kind of the mobilized, scattered site for outreach, shifting from the day center to what he's doing now with Providence Connects. And then Leanne from my team is going to be leading other COCs on how to do invoicing and reading our state contract.
Oh, fun.
Fun
Good
stuff.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's part of the business. It's part of what you have to do.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's a really important point, that there is no special award for inventing.
No.
I mean, of course, we want to be thoughtful and we want to be creative, but it's like a mission. If a mission is doing something that's working, we have to, I think it was Kenny Johnson said, take your ego out of it.
Yeah.
And that's, if everybody can do that and we just show up, and that's where change will happen. Absolutely. And learning from other people is like
I joke that I'm a really good editor.
Okay.
Like there are artists who can create from a blank canvas, you know,
Oh.
like a blank canvas and all that. But I would much rather edit.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, I can see something that's looks great, but how do we edit it for our context, and how do we adapt it for what we're doing? And I enjoy that kind of work.
Not starting over completely.
Yeah, that's like a waste of resources.
Yeah.
But some people are really good at that.
Yeah.
Like someone had to come up with the idea. Somewhere had to start. So, so we learn a lot from each other. And it's the work of the lead agency, so our Homeless Coalition, you know, they're 27 in Florida, and every COC is different. Like they're not exactly the same. Like very different in Orlando, very different in Jacksonville. It's gonna be very different in Tampa, because HUD kind of gave you this like overview of what it could look like, some basics of that you have to follow in order to receive funding and be considered a COC. But outside of, you know, it's like a baseball diamond, like here's the boundaries, but inside it's like you play the game. So
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. So it's an interesting job, because it's not like you can just like, you know, if someone leaves their COC, they can't just start at another one and just expect to understand how things are done.
Right.
I mean, the state contract is the same, basically, and our the thing at HUD, but how the communities run is very different.
Every community is different. What do you think is the hardest part of your job?
Oh gosh.
I know. That's a big question.
I think that politics.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I did not go to school for this, and I don't understand politicians. I don't know.
It's okay to say.
I respect, for the most part, that they're doing the very best they can do.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's really hard. It's very, very difficult.
What makes it hard? I know. I asked this because I want you to tell me the secret.
The secret. I think it's really hard to be, gosh. Probably for me, as one in whom Christ dwells and delights, right? And who believes I live in the strong and unshakable kingdom of God.
Yeah.
How do you live out your faith in a world where that's not people's primary, or they can't lead with that? They can't, you know? So I just think it's easier than people make it way more difficult than it needs to be, right? We just love God, and we love people, and we are truthful and we present, you know, we present the truth, and we, you know, walk in light and not dark, you know. And so I don't know how people talk out of both sides of their mouth. I mean, so that's like something you come like, so it's just it's like a weird playground that people play in, and you have to behave a certain way to get reelected, and so you can't have passion about something and not. And so for me, in my role, I can't, not that I can't be, but my role's not to be an advocate in that space. Like I have to be a partner with whoever is in.
Yeah.
That's my role for this coalition.
Yeah.
And I desperately depend on our agencies to be advocates, and our citizens and all that. And not that I'm not an advocate, but my role is different. And so that just feels weird.
You have boundaries. There's certain boundaries
there really
you have
are.
to stay.
I have to
inside
have, so I do, when I say I have a respect, I do, because I know that when you are an elected official, like, it took a lot to get there. And if you want to do any good, you have to make concessions for things.
Yeah.
To do any good. Like, so it's just, sometimes they're just in a no-win situation. So I have a respect for that, and I want them to respect what I do. So it's just this weird space.
Yeah.
It's just, but
you handle it really well.
Well, thank you.
I think that things are happening here.
Yeah.
And even, you know, at 10, 11 o'clock at night, we start to get tired, and we think nobody's listening, nobody cares, but every day we wake up again and we're renewed.
Yep.
And we keep doing what we're doing, and we're making a difference. We really are.
You are.
And you keep telling me that, and I'll keep telling you that.
Thank you.
And we'll all keep telling each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll keep doing what God put us here to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Anything else you want to share?
I think my parting word anytime that anyone will listen is that if I do any advocacy, it is to our community that when opportunity arises for you to be in support or in favor of a development of someone wanting to come in and rent their home out to a family or two families because of they have a heart for helping people obtain housing, just be supportive and use your voice. If you could just put it on your calendar to go to city council meetings and just look, imagine if the church said, I'm going to be such an advocate for this. I'm going to look at the city council agenda and there's a new development coming and they're going to do affordable housing. I'm going to show up. I'm going to get my neighbors to show up and we're going to say, this is so cliche, and you probably already said this, yes, in God's backyard. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Instead of not in my backyard,
yeah,
yes.
We did have some of that, but you can say it again and again
and again. Yes, in God's backyard. Yes, we support this. And because that is... Our politicians they're in office to do what they were elected to do this. So if the only people who show up say no, then they're going to do what those people say.
Yeah.
So show up, use your voice for good. That would be my we have to make space and allow this kind of progress and this work to happen because it's happening. You're going to see people sleeping on the street. Or we're going to get them housed off the streets.
Yep. And we're going to get them services so that they can stay housed.
Exactly.
Because you can't just put somebody in a unit and be like, best of luck to you.
Peace
out.
Peace out, yeah.
No,
it doesn't work.
It's all those wraparound services.
Yep. So
we're going to keep fighting the good fight.
Absolutely.
Amber Caroll, Brevard Homeless Coalition.
You.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I love it.